Political figures from the far left to the right came together ahead of the first session of the new parliament to voice their anger with what they referred to as widespread fraud in the elections process and the results it yielded. The demonstration was held in front of the Supreme Court of Justice in downtown Cairo, and as usual, the security forces outnumbered protesters who were made up of activists, members of opposition groups, and candidates who stood in the recent elections but failed to win seats. While the opposition and independent monitors have said that the elections were marred by massive fraud that favored the ruling party, officials assert that the process was fair and that sporadic violations could not change the results.
The demonstration expresses the mass refusal of the blatant fraud that happened on the 28th of November and the 5th of December. All the factions of the Egyptian people refused the elections and viewed them as illegitimate. Illegitimate on the basis of court decisions and on the basis of the will of the people.
President Hosni Mubarak said that the country's recent parliamentary elections were consistent with the law, despite minor violations in some districts. The protesters called for dissolving the new parliament composed almost entirely of the ruling party representatives, amid suggestions from some political factions for a parallel parliament made up of ex-legislators who face violations in the elections process as a true voice of the people. Only 14 out of the 508 contested seats went to parties other than the ruling National Democratic Party. Since the end of the elections, many among the opposition political parties have called for the formation of a united front to face the ruling party in next year's presidential elections.
People with different beliefs are all united here on a national stance. They all refuse these elections and its results. Everyone is standing united for a political and constitutional battle.
What we want is that the president steps in and dissolves the parliament and holds free and democratic elections. We want those who contributed to the fraud to be brought to justice. We want a parallel parliament capable of representing the people.
The Muslim Brotherhood boycotted the second round of the vote after winning no seats in the first stage and refused to acknowledge the seat it won in the runoff. The liberal Al-Wafd also boycotted the runoffs and called on the candidates that won on its ticket to choose between the party and the parliament. A coalition of local non-governmental organizations last week asked the Egyptian president to dissolve the newly elected parliament due to alleged election fraud, which they attributed to the absence of judicial supervision during the elections.
Political powers of all affiliations are here today to voice their anger and to say that the parliament session, which will start tomorrow, is illegitimate. But whether this anger will snowball into a larger social movement will be revealed in the next days. Mai Kamel, Press TV, Cairo.